Okay, well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Poetry Stage 2015 at the Festival of Eugene. Hopefully we're going to have a really good 3-day event this year. We're doing a wonderful donation raffle to help a wonderful cause, the OSLP Arts and Culture Program. And we have some great prizes. There's a prize list over there showing the stuff you can win for any donation. So feel free to donate, definitely. So right now I would like to thank the Poetry Stage staff and helpers who helped me put all this together this year. It's been a lot of work, and we have worked tirelessly to bring this, to make all this possible for your enjoyment. So our helpers are Laurette, Garner, our event coordinator, Paulette, Schreiner, my dear wife who's in South America right now, Larry Dobberstein, Hayden, Swanson, Brian Burton, Andrew Gonzalez, and Candace Renee Perkins. Please give them all a big round of applause. Thank you, guys. So I'm going to start off this year's event with a couple of my own pieces. I grew up in Los Angeles, the big city, and Pasadena, Hollywood, Venice Beach to be exact. And so a lot of my poetry reflects living in the big city. So I'm going to do one for you. This is the sad story of a lonely inner city flower. This is called The Solitary Existence of a Daisy. Insignificant. Amid the towering concrete and glass structures and midtown shuffling pedestrians, I live, virtually unnoticed. My sturdy stem struggling up through the crack of a weather-weakened crease of the seemingly never-ending squares of this man-made walkway. My delicate yellow petals hungrily reaching for the sun, undisturbed, except by the passing gusts of swirling city dust on their way to settling in dark corners of trash can cluttered alleys. Oh no, watch out, thwack! A passing foot kicks me into oblivion. And I'm going to do one more piece. I'm going to call up my friend Larry Dobberstein to join me. So this next piece, I was sitting in a sidewalk cafe on a Sunday morning in Venice Beach, California, sipping a cup of coffee, watching the waves, and this poem poured right out of me. And I've never changed a word. This is a poem about being in the moment, and it is called Serendipity Sessions. In the far-reaching furrows on the frontier of the future, beyond the fear-founded feelings of failure, lies this moment. Precariously perched in the present am I, and I tumble in thoughts of the true path of passion. Seems the fashion these days, and I find I'm amazed by the simplest things that a fresh moment brings. Can I linger here long? May the seconds tick slowly as I slip through the shadows of serendipity sessions. For the plans that are painted from the palette of presence are most promising and pure and profound, and it's nice to be around. Do I sense these sensations for the same round of reason that I'm writing these rhymes to arouse you? Are moments just fleeting by, tricklings of time I may come to? I'm here now, I pass them, they're through. Remember them fondly, they spark something new, the next measure of moments that surround you. Thank you very much. Okay, so I would like to call up my friend Larry Dobberstein, and We've been working on a couple of things together, and we're going to try and attempt to do them for you right now, and we need just a minute to reset. Test, test. Okay, so we call ourselves Steam. We're going to do two pieces for you. This first one is titled The Edge of Things. Here I sit on the edge of things, afraid to walk near the sun, thrown by the great hand of destiny, yearning for dreams yet begun. Out from the sky comes the blue light of love, shining like all that could be. Strikes me awake for the first time in ages, reminds me of what I can see. Reminds me I sing for the ones still in cages, convey bits and pieces that come out in stages, and play to an audience fraught with despair, to shine some hope down through the darkness they share. I'm sitting here perched on the edge of things. You wait for me to recite. Born from the image of feelings I've known, or gathered from dreams in the night. You gaze in my eyes with the sadness of tears for the lovers of love who still fall, while I sing you the tales of the true ones in time, who knowing their fate still risk all. Reminds me I sing for the ones still in cages, convey bits and pieces that come out in stages, and play to an audience fraught with despair, to shine some hope down through the darkness they share. Here I sit on the edge of things, daring to walk near the sun, thrown by the great hand of destiny, loving the dreams I've begun. Yes, loving the dreams I've begun. Thank you very much. The edge of things. Okay, so now we're going to do something a little more serious. This is a political poem called Everything is War. A lifetime of betrayal, bewilderment, and deceit, always rising to the occasion, while you're always in retreat, always been forsaken by those you love the most. And even though you've been forgotten, you won't give up the ghost. How is it you continue? How is it you reprieve the themes of love and brotherhood? From you they never leave. So many scars beyond repair. So many times you've drowned. And those around, so unaware, who'll stomp you in the ground. No starry-eyed companion, no comrade in arms for you. They gave it up and died in vain, just couldn't see it through. And though your time is lonely, your plaintive cry unheard, you always think if only they'd understand the word. And though your thoughts don't mingle and fall on deafened ears, you understand that single thread that's followed through the years. The word of love so driven, the word of heartache shared, the sacrifice that's given to show someone you've cared. You try to make a difference, but it just doesn't matter. Everybody's just too blind to see, or else they're caught up in the chatter. How can you make a world of compassion? How can you take a stance when no one wants to hear your song? No one wants to dance. Like so many in the world today, you think everything is war. You think sports and competition are what we're here for. But you fell like branches in the wind, curled up consciousness yet to begin, pulled too tight until it burst and coughed up technology's redemption. The stellar revolution. It's so blue. Oh, it's so blue. And everyone's just trying to be a celebrity. War is not the answer. Find a common ground. Compassion and understanding are where the real truth can be found. And though it may not sound a lot, you must nurture the little that's left. For in the end, it's all you've got. And you'll sing it till your last breath. Thank you all very much. We are STEAM. All right, so how about if I do one?
Do you need someone to introduce you?
What's that?
Do you need someone to introduce you?
No. But now here's what we'll do. I have a whole list of stuff here. How about if I give you guys some themes, and you pick out a theme for me to read from. All right? So, I could read any of these kind of poems. A poem about recovery. I'm in recovery. I'm a recovered drug addict and alcoholic with 27 years in recovery. I've written a whole book about it. It's called Songs of Sobriety, and it's the first 10 years of recovery in verse format. So I have recovery poems. I have love and romance poems. I have political poems, sci-fi fantasy poems, perception and insight poems, dream poems, poems with backstories, amphigory poems, if anybody knows what amphigory is, song poems, poems about writing, and sea poems. So how about somebody pick one out for me? What do you want me to read?
Sci-fi fantasy. Sci-fi fantasy.
All right, a sci-fi fantasy poem. Okay. This will be on the fantasy side. It's about, basically it's about a girl comic book character and how she's complained about the way she's been drawn. It's called Badly Drawn Daily. Would you believe it? My hearing aid just went out. Anybody has hearing aids, you know what I'm talking about. Huh?
What?
Okay, Badly Drawn Daily. Badly Drawn Daily was a seaside girl. Badly Drawn Daily had the natural blonde curl. Born in a kitchen, bred like a fox. Her mind was in a jumble like her long curly locks. Badly Drawn Daily was a pregnant wannabe, a trigger finger mama, never silent, never happy. Couldn't love a man, but didn't want no woman, no. Rantin' and a ravin' is all she could really show. And she'd say, arguing is the new discussing. Fighting is the new negotiating. Dissing is the new being friendly. So where are we now? Badly wandered round the desert trying to burn out her desire. She knew she hated them god-awful men, but her heart was still on fire. It was there she met Jim Jacker, so gritty and unrefined. And there was something about his demeanor that just slapped her upside her mind. But she thought, arguing is the new discussing. Fighting is the new negotiating. Dissing is the new being friendly. So where are we now? In a harmless, fateful moment in her tight, light sparkling jeans, Badly jumped her legs round Jim like a vice grip with the means, and she thought, don't throw me under, silent thunder, wrap me in your quiet storm. Keep me close and keep me true, even though I'm nothing like the norm. And though she didn't know it, Jim had a good heart through and through. He grabbed this wacky woman and he knew he would be true. But Badly was still haunted by her twisted, gnarly past, and all she could do was wonder, could something like this last? And she thought, arguing is the new discussing, fighting is the new negotiating, dissing is the new being friendly. So where are we now? Badly Drawn Daily was a doubter through and through. She ranted and she raved in just about everything she'd do. She'd never known anyone who could ever come close to being true. So in her gnarled up emotional mind, she didn't know what to do. Her heart said, go ahead, Jim Jacker might be the one, could do all these things properly no one had ever done. But with baggage as heavy as hers, she might as well take a trip and run off to another place wherever one seemed hip. But Badly stayed with Jacker Jim, in spite of her inner wreck, and time was good to her. In time, it taught her to reflect. Jim was true to his nature. He proved to be the one who nurtured all the pain away. He knew how to get the job done. In time, she actually got pregnant, no longer a wannabe, had a beautiful blue-eyed baby boy, the prettiest you ever did see. And it made Badly's life feel complete. It made her heart feel full. But sometimes that craziness inside of her would still rise up and pull. And she'd think, arguing is the new discussing. Fighting is the new negotiating. Dissing is the new being friendly. So where are we now? Badly drawn Daly had always been in doubt. Because of how she was drawn, it's what her life was about. A nip and tuck here, a nose job there. It's no wonder she was lost and didn't seem to care. Her creator must be stuck on that plastic surgery craze. Don't he know it just distresses her and leaves her in a daze? Badly likes who she is, but who she is keeps a changin'. It's hard to get a grip when everything's rearranging. And she thinks, I've been here before. This all seems familiar. Don't draw me this way anymore. I want to move on. If she could just stay put long enough to dig some galdang roots, she'd have a place to call her home and a home to hang her boots. So put your pens and ink away. Let me and baby and Jim Jacker stay. Jim likes to plant, and this seems a good spot. Besides, our roots is all we got. And she thinks, I've been here before. This all seems familiar. Don't draw me this way anymore. I want to move on. In time, she forgot the drawing abuse and settled into family life. Jim planted a garden as beautiful as could be to help put an end to Badley's strife. And Badley would spend her mornings there, but she'd see others being abused by men they couldn't trust, and the artist always drawing the bigger bust. But Jim would reassure her, don't worry, Badley, our love will last. I love you just the way you are. But Badley just thought of the past. She felt in her heart nothing had changed. It was all the same old crap. But she'd shove it away to the back of her mind, put baby down for a nap. Then she'd think, I've been here before. This all seems familiar. Don't draw me this way anymore. I want to move on. Yes, badly drawn Daly was a doubter through and through. She still ranted and she'd raved in just about everything she'd do. But Jim Jacker was persistent. He tried to make her see, just because you've been abused before, it's not the way it's gotta be. Think about the things that move you. Think about the things we share. So many things to be thankful for. So many ways to care. There are moments all around you, moments to be kind, moments to remind you, to keep a hopeful mind. But badly drawn Daly had a hankering in her mind. Badly drawn Daly wasn't the level-headed kind. Withdrawn to her own world, she'd be singing her own song, thinking about all those wayward thoughts that made it hard to be strong. But then Badly started singing to a different, brighter song, trying to trust what Jacker said and trying to move on. Move on from the awful nightmares that still invaded her mind, to live a life of happiness and leave the bad drawing behind. Their lives grew brighter as baby grew bigger. Life got busy and seemed okay. Yet way down deep inside of Badly, that chatter would still have its way. And she'd start to have her doubts again, even though her life was good. And she'd think the drawing was bad again, instead of knowing the things she should. And she'd think, I've been here before. This all seems familiar. Don't draw me this way anymore. I want to move on. Badly drawn Daly was a seaside girl. Badly drawn Daly had the natural blonde curl. Born in a kitchen, bred like a fox. Her mind was in a jumble like her long curly locks. Badly drawn Daly will always have her doubts. Those wayward places in her mind will always bring on bouts. But she knows now, because she has hope now, and she has compassion, and she thinks, I've been here before. This all seems familiar. Don't draw me this way anymore. I want to move on. Thank you. Okay, so let's see. Before I bring up our next reader, we're going to maybe do a little improv. While I've still got Eve here, she has consented to try and play a little flute. And Andrew's going to play a little drum, and I'm just going to read something, and we're just going to see what happens, all right? Okay. So let's do it on like this. All right?
Okay.
Slow and easy.
Sounds doable. You got enough swings?
Oh, yeah, okay.
So this poem is a political poem. I write a lot of political stuff, and I read a lot of romance poetry, and I do a lot of performing with my music and drum, but sometimes I just like to get a little political, you know? So that's what this one is kind of like. And it's called Like an Old Western. The pharmaceuticals, the insurance companies, the oil companies, the energy companies, the banks and Wall Street, the government and the Fed. They'll all say we're better off, but they just as soon see us dead. They say things are better, but nothing has changed. They still get their profits, they're just rearranged. While most just still suffer from the inflation game, when everything rises but wages, we're not turning pages. No big change upon us. The bought and the paid for have thrown us under the bus. What's the fuss? Wanna cuss? Won't do you no good, 'cause the do-gooders are gone. Long time moved on. No ground can be gained, it's all the same. They're the ones to blame, and it's such a shame. We can't pin it on their name, but compassion's never been their claim to fame. But it's nothing, disgusting. No life here, ain't no life nowhere. It's like watching a Western that's old and outdated. You thought it had substance, but it's just overrated. 'Cause they pound you with everything they say that you need. But watch out for the side effects, filled up with their greed. The corporate greed just sucks us dry. Can't get away from it no matter how you try. If you send someone up to fix it for you, it just doesn't matter, 'cause they'll get sucked in too. Until regulation is diligently done, forget about it. Compassion is just on the run. No help for your fellow man, no relief for the workers' stand. Children starving all over this land. In the US of A, man, in the US of A. All the brainwashed clones drinking their Starbucks and eating scones, spreading the news like there's no tomorrow. Do anything to you, beg, steal, or borrow. At a moment's peep, like sheep on the cheap, just follow whatever they're told. Led fully blind like they've done all the time and will till the day they grow old. Never wake up to walk in the sunlight. Can't get it together, they're just not too bright. Rather shoot you or accuse you and definitely abuse you. Till the day that you die, they'll never look you in the eye, 'cause they're guilty, man. Eggs fried in a pan of promoted ad-libbing, recycled fibbing. Can't think for themselves, too scary to change, forever declaring it's home on the range. But it's nothing, disgusting, no life here, ain't no life nowhere. It's like an old Western. It's old and outdated. You thought it had substance, but it's just overrated. They pound you with everything they say that you need. Watch out for the side effects, filled with their greed. A critical thinking person is music to my ears. For hordes of heartless people have been marching through the years. Like a vampire's bite, they suck you dry to drain your spiritual light. But every now and then you find someone whose light is bright. You fight to keep it shining, can't give in to the blind. The music's still reminding you to keep an open mind. 'Cause it ain't now what it was then. It ain't bright enough, but you keep wondering when. Keep fighting for the light. Keep breaking through the night. Help others when you might, so they too may wake up when it's right. Investments are good right now. Jobs, well, they're bad. There's many foreclosures around to be had. It's an interesting situation out there for you. Things are looking up, if you're one of the few. But for those of us most, Things are still looking toast. The ghost of prosperity seems a thing of the past, and there's no present signs that these feelings won't last. The problems and bills seem to compound so fast. You try hard to make ends meet, to keep things afloating, to stay on your feet. But you're tired and beaten and ground to the core. And even when you're feeling good, the wolf is at the door. When it's gonna come your way, when's it gonna pay to lead a hard-working, honest life and have some real relief from the strife? Get up on top and not fall. Get ahead, have a buffer, that's all. But who's really listening, and who's gonna lead to bring real prosperity and not just feed the greed? Sometimes it just seems useless, I know, and just hopeless, man. But somehow you always get up and keep doing what you can for yourself and your fellow man. Well, I can see the light in you. I see it. Yes, I can. I don't have words of wisdom, but I'm glad you make a stand. Because it's the real Americans like you who will eventually save this land. The compassion in your hearts, the ones who still reach out their hand, the ones who make this country grand, many grains of sand, the true American brand. And yes, it's like an old Western. It's old and outdated. You thought it had substance, but it's just overrated. They pound you with everything they say that you need. Watch out for the side effects, filled up with their greed. It's just nothing. Disgusting. No life here. Ain't no life nowhere. With apologies to Jimi Hendrix. Thank you. Thank you, Eve. Thank you, Andrew. This poem is about living in the big city, Los Angeles, where I grew up, and the traffic. It's called Late Night Jam Session, LA, California. Downshifting. Why is everybody stopping? It's 11:30 at night. This lane will get me there quicker, a truck would say, if it could speak, as it slices its way in front of me like a freshly sharpened knife. Is that a dog pound in the back of your truck, or are you just overly protected? I want to shout to that man with the wolfhounds in his truck. As I punch the FM buttons, as if wishing the right rhythms with my index finger jabs, searching for a song to soothe this momentary anxiety of another unexpected stop-and-go off-hour freeway traffic jam. And for a jam session, I'd rather hear rhythm and blues than NutraSweet synthesizers. Gutsy, straightforward, and to the point, unpretentious, and you know where to stomp your feet. Give me a danceable, clappable, three-part harmony with a low-down bass beat anytime. Except maybe when I first wake up in the morning. Just in the nick of time, you come on the radio. As the traffic starts moving again, and I press through the gears while I hum along to your bluesy guitar. Passing the barking dogs, I look over to the pickup's driver, who peers out from under his crinkled straw cowboy hat. I wonder what soothes him in moments like this. I want to shout, hey, how about some Howlin' Wolf? But I pass. Thank you. Okay, how about a couple of love? Let's try some love poetry. I haven't heard much of that here today. A little love, a little romance. All right, this one I'm going to see if I can set some music up for this. Okay, so where is this? 8. Like a wet rainbow. Oh, to see the potential of who you are inside. What a flower, what a rose, what a fragrance it could be. To see the colors of you sparkle, shine, drip all over like a wet rainbow. The layers, the coats, could keep me warm forever and could beat the hours of time and the rustiness out of my breath. Thank you. Reality. The bright-eyed man walked wearily in the sand. Deep in thought, he pondered the dreamers and the schemers. As he gazed into the night sky, a shooting star blazed its final request, and the bright-eyed man beseeched the moonlight. How do I live my dreams when all this reality demands my time? To which the full moon winked and replied, is this reality, or does it merely drift on the mist of dreams and imagination? Thank you. And this is one I wrote just recently, a new love poem. In this catching, you look to me like somebody throwing up roses, a prescient and perceptive human being. You look to me like someone who doesn't do poses, a peachy-skinned presence of fascination. I catch your alluring demeanor, the glow of your wondering gaze, your fetching yet spare inclination to sing. It shines through my wallowing haze. I wonder what brings you to center, to spring up and be at this moment we're in. I hope in this catching you'll let me slip up to the magic that swallows your sin. Okay, love poetry is always good, right? Okay, well, come on down there. Depth perception. I'm searching for an answer to the fading crack of dawn, the warmth of daylight waning while the night goes on and on. Do people just get stranger, or is something really wrong with my depth perception? Interject me with some feeling, signify it with some proof. You can understand the magic that inspired me in my youth and is so hard to come by now. Seems no one has the time to strike the message truly, fit the rhythm to the rhyme. The image is nearly frozen. The cast is almost bronze. The coolness of the chosen ones whose hipness goes on and on in never-ending sitcoms on the ever-prevailing tube until it infiltrates your psyche like a perpetual engine lube. Yeah, I'm still glad you are here, but you're a dim light in a dark room. It's hard to feel you when you are near in all this gathering gloom. Could it be you signify the truth that has been lost? Could it be we're poorer for all the coins that have been tossed? Maybe we are all worse off, but just don't seem to notice. Maybe we should just shut down and blame it on the POTUS. I'm searching for an answer to the fading crack of dawn, the warmth of daylight waning while the night goes on and on. Do people just get stranger, or is something really wrong with my depth perception? Thank you. Okay, This is a poem with a backstory. Okay, this is a serious one. They can't all be fun ones. This is a poem about Los Angeles, California. I wrote it on April 29th, 1992, the night of the Rodney King riots in Los Angeles. In light of the recent events in Ferguson, Missouri, and the revelations of other killings by police of black men around our country, and then the subsequent shootings of police officers in New York City, I decided to pull my poem out and reread it. It was surprising and frustrating to me that it remains so relevant in addressing what is still going on when it comes to race relations in our country. It just seems to me that we never address the real problems. All we ever address are the symptoms. It's the same old story of alienation and inequality that has plagued our country for so long with no end in sight. It has been 50 years since the Civil Rights Act. It's been over 20 years since the LA riots of 1992 surrounding the Rodney King verdict. We didn't address the problems then, just like we are not addressing them now. Oh yeah, we will address the symptoms all day long and plaster them on the evening news for all night long. People are rioting, looting, burning. That is against the law. That is the problem. Bring in the state police. Bring in the National Guard. These people are lawbreakers and must be stopped. But those are the symptoms. We never address the underlying problems of why. Why are these people rioting and looting? Why is the frustration of people played out in violence on the streets? It is because the changes needed are not really happening. Inequality and racism are the sick underbelly of our nation. When the LA riots happened in 1992, I was right smack dab in the middle of them. I was working at the Amundsen Theater on a show called Phantom of the Opera. The Amundsen Theater in the Music Center is 2 blocks away from the Parker Center police station in downtown Los Angeles. We were backstage waiting for the stage manager to call places, and we saw the riots on the news as they unfolded. The show went on, of course, and of course the show must go on, right? But when the show ended, an announcement was made that Parker Center was under siege, the freeway on-ramp was in flames, and National Guard Humvees were patrolling the perimeter of the music center where we were. They said all audience and crew needed to stay in the theater until it was safe to leave. About an hour later, around 11 p.m., they announced that the freeway on-ramp was no longer in flames, that we could leave carefully. I got safely to my car and headed home, which was in Mar Vista on the west side by the beach. As I drove west along the Santa Monica Freeway, I looked to my left and was surprised to see how many spots in the city were in flames. It looked like a war zone right out of a movie. It was an image that I will never forget. I got home, turned on the news, spent the rest of the night, all night long, watching my city burn. And while I did, I wrote this poem. It relates what happened that night, and it relates what is still happening now in our country. The next day, I printed up hundreds of copies of my poem, went down to the Venice Beach boardwalk, and handed them out to people all day long. Will we ever learn? Will we ever evolve as human beings to a place where this insidious racism does not polarize us? Here's the poem I wrote. It is titled, Kings of History. The kings in our country always get hurt. Why is the world still groveling in the dirt, searching for justice? Another riot in the street. Another fanning of the racial flame. A king was broken in the street, and no one gets the blame. It's not a mystery, just another piece of history that the media fuels the flames of for all to see. Buildings continue to burn throughout the city. Prayers for peace call out all around. You wonder, is humanity or justice being served as you watch all over your city burning to the ground? Why do they never listen when we cry out for equality? The true kings in our country call out through eternity. Martin Luther King, Lincoln, John and Bobby Kennedy. When will we finally listen? When will we finally see? Why do we have to sacrifice so much for so little gain? It's about human rights, and it's happening once again. It's not a mystery, just another piece of history that the media fuels the flames of for all to see. Buildings continue to burn throughout the city. Prayers for peace call out all around. You wonder, is humanity or justice being served as you watch all over your city burning to the ground? It's no mystery that pent-up feelings have taken to the streets. But death and destruction do not bring solution. They only increase the pain of an already open wound. Why do joblessness, homelessness, depression, frustration, and anger seem rampant everywhere? Why do unjustified murder and beatings go virtually unnoticed in every town square? Why are executions being justified and war glorified, yet no one around you seems to care? It's no wonder that anguish, pain, and alienation are now once again played out on the streets of our nation. Why do the kings in our country always get hurt? It's not a mystery, just another piece of history that the media fuels the flames of for all to see. Buildings continue to burn throughout the city. Prayers for peace call out all around. You wonder, is humanity or justice being served as you watch all over your city burning to the ground? Thank you. I don't have my notes about this poem, but basically this is a poem I wrote, one of the very first poems I ever wrote. And so let me get my gloves. So this is my anti-war and anti-gun poem, Little Toy Gun. I gave you my name, and you gave me a son. He's starting to walk. I can't wait till he'll run. We'll ride him on ponies. He'll have lots of fun. But don't ever give him a little toy gun. He'll go around shooting you, me, and a friend. But it won't be a toy gun he'll use in the end. He'll find him a real one in the armed forces. I don't want my son taking mass murder courses. So buy him creative things, not for impression. Let him develop his own self-expression. Expression is freedom, but don't get me wrong. I may not be free yet, but I'm getting strong. I have understanding of my own hang-ups. I need understanding so I can be free. And then when our son needs someone to confide in, he always can come to you, babe, or to me. Yes, I gave you my name, and you gave me a son. He's starting to walk. I can't wait till he'll run. We'll ride him on ponies. He'll have lots of fun. But don't ever give him a little toy gun. There it is, my anti-war anthem. Okay, so for some of the youth who haven't heard me on drums, I'll do my Wildweed poem.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This is the title poem from my chapbook, Wildweed. My stuff is rough. It's bare bones. I hate to answer telephones. I want to look you in the eyes when we speak. But it ain't no use in this fast-paced world to ride a horse or court a girl.
get there. She's just moved on. And what becomes of the alley cat on the night of the hard-driving rain, when the lightning speaks loud and everyone crowds in the shelter of warm window panes? I live my life in a pot-bellied stove. I'm an oak tree with ages to tell. I'm the earthquake commander, a green salamander, a salesman with nothing to sell. But did you see me on the night of the new, when everything changed in an instant? The air was so clean and the grass was so green that a new age did not seem so distant. In the quiet, an angel calls, awakened by the engine stalls of the inner city, pondering its sleep. The dream is a draftsman, a hill-dwelling craftsman, a step in a puddle on the road to forever, and life is a boat in a great castle moat. We all circle yet must row together. Now is then, and yesterday's tomorrow. But how can we live it like we mean it, when we're running so fast that the race cannot last, and the space in between lies unseen? Or is that to lay in a meadow and ponder the meaning of the wild blue yonder? The stars at night, or a daffodil, the momentum is great as it rolls down the hill of imagination gone to seed. I'm a wildweed. Why do I feel so safe in the rain and long to sit behind waterfalls? I gaze at blue crystal, I tell tattered tales, and listen when eternity calls. Maybe this just goes on and on, or maybe the hunger can't fathom the dawn. It's the spark in the dark behind your eyes when you sleep just a moment, and then it is gone and you weep. Sheltering skies pour forth from your eyes and germinate the seed of my fast-growing need. I'm a wildweed. Yes, I'm a wildweed. Okay, so this is a piece that my friend Brian Burton over here wrote the guitar work for this piece. I did the drums on it, my wife did the tambourine, and it's kind of a poet's chant to the universe. Kind of like an Indian would chant, but this is a poet chanting as poets will do. Oh, big sky. Oh, big sky. Are you watching over me? Shall I say what I feel is real today? Will they listen to me now? Will it matter anyhow? What shall I do? How's that better? For my soul. Do you think you are a master? Do you practice what you preach? So you think your way is faster? Tell me, what is it you teach? Do you show us how to love each other with more feeling every day? Are you helping anyone with more feeling, as you say? Oh, inspiration, are you watching over me? Shall I say what I feel is real today? Will they listen to me now? Will it matter anyhow? What shall I do for my soul? If you want to start somewhere, then start by being true. Because if you ain't true, then we'll find somebody new. Now maybe you can help us all with what it is you preach. But please don't say you know it all. There's always more to teach. Oh, big sky, are you watching over me? Shall I say what I feel is real today? Will they listen to me now? Will it matter anyhow? What shall I do for my soul? Thank you very much. Brian Burton's guitar work. Okay, thank you all for coming to the poetry stage this year. I'm going to leave you with one short rhyme. This is a short rhyme about writing a rhyme. Just sitting here writing a rhyme and thinking, I can't do it. But as soon as I get past the fear, then I just get to it. And it flows much the same as before, when I've come to what seems a locked door. And I think, this is surely the end. But the door opens up once again. Fear tells me I've nothing to say. Yet here I am once again on my way to completing this line just in time to finish another short rhyme. Thank you. Thanks again for joining us. We hope to see you next year.